Daniel Jones is the guy who, for $14 million, the Colts brought in to give Anthony Richardson some competition, sure, but he also gives Chris Ballard, Shane Steichen some cover if Anthony Richardson doesn't make the developmental steps that were necessary in the offense. Has he made those steps? According to the Colts, maybe not so much yet, but maybe that's coming. We're going to watch on Saturday afternoon and try to figure that out. In the meantime, here's Daniel Jones talking about what he's going through as kind of that new guy in town who's trying to figure out how to take that job.
Yeah, I think I've improved day to day. I've made progress kind of learning this system and executing. I think there's always things you're working on and trying to clean up. So that's kind of where my mindset is. I think as far as evaluating my performance, I think I'll leave that to coaches and that's their job. I think for me, just working on continuing to improve and now, get ready to play Saturday.
Is it hard not to wonder when the decision's coming?
Yeah, I think that's natural. I think in this position, you obviously aware of it and thinking about it. But like I've said, I think, best strategy for me and for anyone in this situation is kind of focus as much as you can on what you need to do to continue to grow and improve.
What is these like 13, 14 practices maybe with your knowledge of the offense growing, what has it maybe allowed you to access on like checks at the line during practice or stuff like that?
Yeah, I think as you get more comfortable with the system, also, you see your defense more and get used to what they're doing and some of the looks you see from them and, trying to adjust protections here and there or get used to seeing a certain coverage and knowing where the spot could be to hit an open guy or, kind of seeing that with the receiver. I think all those things, it's kind of, that's kind of what training camp's about, is getting used to building a chemistry, building a rapport, communicating, and then recognizing it when you're out on the field and adjusting whatever that is.
All the coaches and everyone else talks about how competition brings out the best in both players. Do you feel like it's brought something out of you, or has it, created anything in you that you feel like has been beneficial to where you are now?
Yeah, I think I think you're always learning, you're always growing. I think I've done that. This training camp has been great for me that way, like it always has. And competition, definitely, encourages that. So. I feel like I've played well and continue to learn and improve, work on the things that I haven't done as well.
You've been in the league a long time, seen a lot of things. Maybe this is dumb, but what would you now, the guy you are today, what would you tell your younger self if you had the opportunity? Maybe prepare you for what comes.
I think I don't know. I think that's a interesting question. I think. Looking back, I think you hear a lot of people say, you have no idea what you didn't know at that point. And a lot of that, I think, was good. You kind of just ripping it and letting it go, and you have confidence because you don't know that you don't know a lot, if that makes sense. So I think that piece of it's valuable. I think as you learn and grow, I think, sometimes you can try to learn and grow too much and understand that every situation's different, every play's different, every look's a little bit different. See it, play that play. Don't try to take something from a previous play. You want to learn, but there's a balance between, what can I learn, but also can I treat this play as it by itself, if that makes sense. And I think there's always a balance at quarterback of doing that. You want to learn, but every play's different, and because they played it a certain way last time doesn't mean we're going to play it the same way this time. But I think that, there's so many things that could be a long discussion.
You have a reputation for preparation, being in the building early, doing all that kind of stuff. Did you have that coming out of college? Is that something that was helped by going to a team with a veteran quarterback? Where do you think that came from?
Yeah, I think Coach Cutcliffe at Duke was always the preparation of the quarterback was emphasized strongly. So I understood that early on, and then being around Eli, being around Alex, Tanny, my rookie year, and kind of learning from them on how they studied and prepared for practice and games. I think that's just something I saw thought made a lot of sense.
When you look at Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith and some of those guys, do you see that as a possible template for your career, guys who struggled in one place, went somewhere else, and really found their groove?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly, looking at those guys, seeing their success, I think they did it in different ways, and I think my situation and being here, I certainly prepare and play and expect to have success. So every guy has a different way of doing a little bit, but there's been plenty of examples of guys going on and having a lot of success.
What do you think of the offensive performance today as a whole?
I felt like overall we probably weren't as sharp as we've been in a lot of our work leading up to this. I think a lot of things we can clean up offensively, but I think that's going to happen. And in joint practice, the speed and the intensity's ramped up a little bit. You're going against different looks that you haven't seen before, so I think it probably wasn't as sharp as we're used to being at this point at camp. So I think we'll obviously look to clean it up, but I'm confident we've put in a lot of work. We're a sharp group. I think we've had a good camp so far as an offense.
Is there something you've had to be intentional about in terms of like preparing like you're the starter without yet having that title on you?
Not really. I think the preparation's the same. The process is the same. Preparing for practice every day like you would if you were the starter, and getting ready for your reps, reviewing the practice before, whatever it is. I think that process is largely the same.
There's Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones is a guy, this isn't a great situation for him. This isn't optimal. He, in previous years with the Giants, he was the starter when he came into camp the last few years. This year, he's not the starter. He's not the starter yet. Anthony Richardson, he's not the starter either. They don't have a starter right now, but he's going to come out on Saturday afternoon, and he's going to be the starter in that game. And I think he needs to show out a little bit and show not just Steichen and Ballard that he can handle the heat and make that offense move against the Green Bay Packers. What he's got to do, too, he got to convince us. And that's a little bit different. We don't get to see everything that goes on behind the scenes. Sure, we get to come out and see all of these practices at Grand Park, but we don't get to see the stuff behind the scenes that may weigh heavily on Steichen and Ballard in making that decision.